So, as the majority of you guys may know, ABA has been quite dry recently, with the only thing we've been receiving lately being characters and reworks. Now, that's not to say that's a bad thing, but it's also not the most exciting thing. And that's why today, I'll be covering things that I believe ABA needs as quality of life changes. Before we begin, if you guys like my content, then make sure to like and subscribe. We're really close to 2K subs, so it'd be appreciated. For this video, I'll start off with more important topics, but as the video goes on, I'll start to talk about stuff that isn't as important, but would make really good changes anyways. With that all said, let's talk about the first topic, the prestige system. I think the biggest thing that the prestige system lacks is the fact that there's no reroll option. I mean, come on, we currently have 6 prestige characters with 1 more confirmed to come out, that being Goten and Trunks. Meaning, if you're super unlucky, the chances of you getting the prestige character you want are very slim. Now, there are quite a few ways to solve this problem, the most obvious one being to give us some sort of way to reroll at least once, like a free reroll or to pay with in-game cash. Another solution is to add some sort of trade-in feature, and no, I don't mean like prestige trading between players. What I mean is that if you have 2 prestige characters, and you go talk to someone like the prestige guy, or some new NPC, they can take those 2 prestige characters you don't want, and grant you the ability to choose a prestige character you do want. Now, this solution does require you to have at least 2 prestiges, but it's a whole lot better than being stuck with 2 characters you don't want. Now, let's talk about prestige XP gain. As of right now, there doesn't seem to be any XP boost for once you prestige, which is a huge issue because when I got my first prestige, it took over a year to obtain. Now, obviously times have changed, and we have stuff like AFK World and Pro servers, but those methods are still not efficient. So obviously give people who prestige some sort of XP boost, like a 1.25 times XP multiplier. Another way to solve this would be adding a daily quest system. It's exactly how it sounds. You're given a few tasks each day, and once you complete them, you gain rewards. For example, you could be given the task, win 5 ranked matches, and once that's complete, you gain a level, and maybe a few coins. This would definitely make leveling up and such easier, and give players an actual incentive to play the game. It would also make players come back on a daily basis to complete these said tasks, which in my opinion is a win-win. Another thing which I believe should be added are more game modes. The current game modes we have are focused more on the competitive side of things, and the only casual-like game mode is limited to private servers only, and that being Juggernaut, which by itself isn't really the best. So here are some suggestions for new game modes. First off, we have King of the Hill, a classic game mode in which the longer you stay at the top of the hill, the more points you get, and obviously whoever has the most points at the end of the match wins. For this game mode, we're gonna need a custom map for it, and whenever the game mode is selected, it'll automatically ban unfair characters like Ishtar and Iskandar. Another potential game mode we could have would be Capture the Flag. There will be 2 teams that spawn on opposite sides of the map with their flags. Now, this game mode could make use of big maps that people don't usually like to fight on, such as Sokyoko Hill or Cairo. Now, to score a point, first you need to obtain the other team's flag and then bring it back to your base. First to 5 points wins, or the team with the most points after 5 or so minutes wins. Now, obviously it's not going to be that simple, as you'll have a whole other team trying to kill you to get their flag back. And just like the other game mode, certain characters like Ida or Iskandar will be automatically banned. Now, we don't want to limit game modes to just public servers and private servers. Obviously, we can have new stuff for ranked too. One game mode which I think will be really fun for ranked would be something like Project JoJo's Gang Wars, or better known as a point capture game mode. How it works is that there will be 2 options for this, a 4v4 option and a 5v5 option. So basically, you and up to 3 to 4 friends queue up into this game mode, and after finding a match, you'll all be teleported into the game server. For this, I think it'd be fitting for everyone to have 2 bans each. Once everybody's selected their characters, you and your team will spawn on one side of the map, while the other team spawns on the other side. Now, we're gonna need a pretty big map for this, and honestly, Project JoJo's Italy worked super well, so something like that should work. And I'll be using that as some sort of representation for this. On this map, there will be 3 different points you need to capture. The more players from the same team that stay on a point, the faster the point will get captured. If there's 2 players from opposing teams on the same point, the point will not begin to get captured until someone else steps on the point, or one of the players gets off of it. Once a point has been fully captured, your team will begin to gain a point on the leaderboard each second, which can lead to your team getting a better reward at the end of the match, but I'll get into that later. If all 3 points have been captured by one team, then that team wins, but if the 10-minute timer runs out, then the team with the most leaderboard points by the end of the match wins. Now, about the reward thing I was talking about. Since this is a pretty big game mode, there should be some sort of prize at the end, right? So, I think a way to make this work is that whoever wins the match gets something like 3 levels plus a new skin. And for every 500 points your team has, the better the reward will be. Like an extra level to those 3 levels you gain. Or maybe new skins, or even just some gold. This also means that the losing team can get rewards too, although it won't be as great as the winning team's reward by a long shot, but it's still something. Now, if you want to know the numbers for this, so basically since a full match is around 10 minutes long, the most points you could possibly obtain would be around 1,200, because if you claim all 3 points, then you automatically win. So the most levels you could gain from this would be around 5 levels if you win, and 2 levels if you lose. Since there's definitely going to be some way to cheese this, there should be a cooldown for when you can claim your reward. I think from either 30 minutes to an hour would be best, so you can still play the game mode, but you're just not going to get the rewards until your cooldown is over. Now, obviously there's more game modes we could get for the game, but these are things that I feel like would be a fun addition to the game. And plus, we still have more things to talk about. Now, if you guys have any recommendations, then leave them in the comment section below. It would be really nice to hear what game modes you guys could come up with. Moving on, something we really need is a region selector. Now, I don't really have this issue, but I've had a bunch of friends talk about how their ping becomes unbearable, and it's all because for some reason we've been sent to a Brazil server. Now, being laggy because of your internet is one thing, but being laggy because the game sends you across the world just to play around is something else, and something that really needs to be solved. Now, these next few topics aren't going to be as big as the previous ones, but are still some pretty good changes. First one being, to have our music settings always saved. Now, this only happens sometimes after you load up ABA, but seems to happen pretty frequently, and can actually screw up recordings for YouTubers, since majority of the time, they won't even know that their music is on when they load into a ranked match. Heck, this has even happened to me a few times before. This is obviously a bug, but I don't see why this hasn't been fixed yet. Next topic is to grant us the ability to hide our ranks. Now, this one is kinda stretched, and probably a little biased, but if you're someone who has 2 or more X ranks, then you've probably ran into some people who complain about how high your rank is, or how they're gonna lose, etc. So you should probably know how annoying it can be. And honestly, at this point, I don't even think rank means too much, since I'm pretty sure a majority of people got their ranks from AFK World, and I did too. Now, the final thing I have prepared for this video is to allow us to disable Downslam particle effects. These effects are super blinding, and sometimes can even sell your combos if you're not paying close attention. I've also heard complaints from people of how it lags their game. And the worst part is that they can't even do anything about it since, well, there's no option to disable them. And recently there's this thing going on with Yoruichi's move in Awakening, where it does a bunch of these particle effects. Now, I don't know if it's still in the game, but I do have a recording of it from my Ida video, so... I actually went to go check if it's still in the game, and unsurprisingly, it's still here. You know, you'd think that they'd patched this already. With everything covered, that's the end of the video. I may or may not make a part 2 if I can think of anything else, or if you guys have some recommendations. So yeah, if you guys like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And while you're at it, why not hit the notification bells too? Oh, yeah, on my community post, I should have a poll on what characters you guys would like to see next on ABA Compare and Contrast, so make sure to check that out. And one more thing too, I probably should be promoting this more, but I have a Discord too. It should be in the description and pinned comment, so joining it would be appreciated. Now, I believe that should be everything. So, with that all said, I'll see you. Peace.